Well, I just wanted to start by asking, how did you get involved in the series? Did you do any work on the original film?
It would have been a dream to actually work on the original film. And I was actually in the Universal Composers Initiative, and it was actually our first day of the program. And uh, approached the executives and said, I hear there's this movie that's set in China, and I'm an expert on various Chinese instruments, and I'd be happy to help if there's anything I can do to help. But didn't get that opportunity. But I'm so happy to come full circle and be the composer on the TV show.
Yeah, well, the series isn't a musical, but obviously it has a lot of music and instrumentals, especially because of E's power with her violin. Do you know how many different scores you ended up composing by the end of it?
What do you mean by scores?
Like how many different songs or tracks did you end up composing?
There's several hours of music.
Yeah. Are they all separate, or is it?
Yeah, there's 10 episodes, and every episode is just chock full of music. So for a 22-minute episode, there's probably average of 18 or 19 minutes of music. So it's a lot.
That is a lot of music for sure. Wow, that's awesome.
It's such a privilege to be the musical voice behind E and Everest's powers. So it's really special.
Yeah, so what's that process like then? If you have the music ongoing through the episode, are you connecting it? Are you finding a way to connect it to the storyline? Like what are you thinking of when you're making this music?
So we started pretty early in during the animatic phase. So they brought me in very early to write all of Yi's violin playing, and I had to actually record a violin player and actually shoot footage of the actual performance so that the animators could then reference that in the animation, so that they could actually match where her fingers are on the instrument and make it look as realistic as possible. So in that regard, I was able to create a lot of the themes early on that then once we got into the final animation and I was scoring the picture, I was able to use those themes and also expand on them and write new themes for various characters and creatures throughout the series.
Cool, yeah. And then I know you were also an orchestra conductor. So were you excited to kind of compose this music did you compose any of E's songs?
Oh, I composed almost.
Yeah, I'm assuming you composed all of her her violin music. But yeah, was that nice to be able to do?
Oh, I mean, this whole project has been a dream come true. Partly just being Chinese American and seeing my culture represented on screen, but also musically, I was able to draw on my classical background, so I was influenced by 18th and 19th century violin concertos, the modern orchestra, particularly in animation scoring, particularly like drawing on a little bit of the movie and just what you expect from a DreamWorks project in terms of a big orchestral sound. On top of that, there were all the Chinese instrumentation that I was able to use to connect the story with the Chinese mythical creatures and the setting in China, particularly in Nai Nai's dumpling shop, where a lot of scenes take place. And but even beyond that, it's also set in modern day, so there was opportunities to have electronic music, rock music, jazz, and just the whole gamut of musical genres was so much fun to explore.
Do you I'm guessing you do. Do you play any instruments yourself?
I do. I actually play piano and clarinet primarily, but I've taught myself a lot of other instruments over the years, including harp and a little bit of guitar, ukulele, also saxophones, and particularly for this project, I was playing a lot of Chinese wind instruments, which are called Bawu, which is spelled B-A-W-U, and Hulusi, which is Hulusi, or you could just call it Hulu for short. That might confuse people since the show is on Hulu. But yeah, I recorded a lot of those myself. I also recorded some Chinese drums. including a lion drum, which you hear in the new Chinese New Year's episodes where there's a dragon dance. So it was really fun to just play around with all those instruments that I spent money on, and it's good to put that investment to use.
Wow, so you're actually playing a lot of the music you compose for the show.
Yeah, there's I'm playing on, every single episode. There's probably a number of cues where, but particularly in prominent solo woodwind stuff. That's a lot of that's me.
That's amazing. I'm a woodwind player myself, so I love woodwinds.
Yeah.
Let's see. Well, I know you've composed songs for live action as well, correct?
Correct.
Is there a difference in the overall kind of tone or feeling that you're going for, or is it just based on the content of the story?
Yeah, at the end of the day, a composer's job is to tell that particular story through music. And so when we started with this project, the producers told me, we want you to approach this like a feature film, and not so much, the more cartoony Mickey Mousing kind of music where the music sort of accents every little action on screen, or mirrors it. So I brought a very sort of, I would say, big approach to this in terms of the music, and being more longer phrases and melodies, but also it's still animation, and it sort of a difference from live action is, there's just sort of more room for the music to be magical and be a little more, just be a little more active in elevating the story. Although, if you're doing more fantasy, adventure kind of stuff, there is room for that in live action as well.
Yeah, because I had wondered about myself, just because I felt like there was always more of a whimsical soundtrack for animation. So that's cool for sure. And then, so this show is about E and her friends saving magical creatures, and I've been asking everyone what their favorite animal is this season.
Oh, gosh, there's so many cute animals.
I know, they're adorable.
I guess my besides Everest, who's kind of the star of the show, I really love Feng Huang, which is the magical phoenix that we meet in episode 1. And I think a lot of it is because I wrote a theme for Feng Huang that I loved, and frankly a lot of the team working on the project loved, so much so that it sort of evolved beyond Feng Huang's theme and became the magical creatures theme. So you actually hear it all throughout the series.
So cool. All right. And then lastly, I know that you also created the Star Wars musical, which I love, because it's a bunch of different Disney songs, which is so great. Would you ever want to do something like that again in the future?
So we're actually have a second episode coming.
Oh, nice.
Got it in 2017. So it's been in post-production, languishing, because it's a lot of work, a lot of digital visual kind of effects work. But we definitely hope to finish it soon, and it's pretty close. We're just waiting on editors who are basically pouring their love and passion into it, and but they have to make money on other projects. So this is their fun side project, and we're hoping to release it fairly soon.
Oh, that's so exciting. Awesome.
Oh, and it's called Star Wars musical Empire's New Groove.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. I'm so excited. Awesome. Well, it looks like that is all I had for you. Thanks for chatting with me today.